So first question is like, um, who are you and what is your occupation?
Okay, so my name is Jules Pavlenko, and I'm a special education teacher at Perry High School.
Yeah. And the first question is, how would you define attention span in your own words?
In my own words, okay, so I would say attention span is the ability to maintain focus for a sustained period of time on whether it's something of interest or something of not. Okay.
Yeah. The next question is, do you think attention span has changed over the years, and if so, how and why?
In regards to students or as adults, what?
For everyone.
I think attention span has totally changed over the years. I even think it's changed with myself too as I've managed more tasks and things. And I do think part of that attention span change is, technology has been more present in our lives more so than ever, right? So I think technology plays a huge role in that.
Yeah. The next one is, can you describe a recent situation where you found it hard to focus and what distracted you?
For myself?
Yes.
Okay. Well, now that I am a mother, I have a sick son, right? And I'm trying to currently focus on work, and I'm navigating coaching. And then I had a meeting the other day and managing all those things while my focus in my brain has been on my son and not feeling well. So the distraction and that has taken my attention span away from what needs to be done in the moment because I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
If that answers that. That's been a recent attention struggle.
How long do you think you can focus on a task before your attention starts to wander?
It depends on my environment. If I have my phone is away from me, if my son's not around me, if the TV's off, I can probably focus for a couple hours, right? If I don't have any of those external factors, or if I do have those external factors around me, it'd probably be like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah. And what types of tasks or environments help you stay focused the longest?
Okay, so obviously quiet, and as much as it's nice to have music and TV and all that, I need quiet. I need also free from people, because I get conversationally distracted, and I need my phone away. If my phone is dinging or buzzing, right, it's going to distract me for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that smartphones or social media have affected your attention span?
Absolutely not so much social media, because I'm not really crazy on social media. However, like texting, family group chats, things like that, has definitely impacted my attention span, personally. But so if that stuff's removed, I feel like I have no problem. And even though I am aware of it, I do think that a phone is a huge problem for me.
And how often do you find yourself multitasking, and how does it affect your focus?
I would say I'm pretty good at multitasking. However, I feel like when I do, I'm not fully doing the task at hand to the best of its ability, right? Like I'm juggling a lot of different things. If I'm trying to look at my phone or talk to my family, friends, and hang out with my kid and do dinner, I just do everything kind of halfway instead of fully.
Yeah. Do you use any apps or tools to help manage your focus or reduce distractions?
No, however, I do like little things for me, like I kind of set a timer, like I'm gonna do this without my phone for a little bit, or I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna set a timer for 30 minutes and I'm gonna keep my focus on this cleaning task, or we just moved. And I'm gonna do that tonight, and when I'm done, we're done. And then I'll go back on my phone or go back on to do what I'm doing that's fun. So kind of I use more like tools like that, I guess you could say, for time management.
And then the next thing is, how does your attention span impact your performance in work?
And I think I have actually really good attention span. However, again, if those distractions are in play, my work performance will not be as, probably as good as it should, right?
Yeah.
But I would say when, phone's away, and even when I'm with students, I don't like to have my email up, because when I see an email from like a parent or whatever that's gonna distract me, I'm gonna not be so into what I need to be doing with my students. So I try to even not have my email popped up.
Yeah. And
Is there a way to pause real quick? No. He's doing a quick interview. Oh, okay. We can just.
okay, and are there any strategies that you found effective in staying focused during long lectures or meetings?
Let's see, long lectures or meetings. I think taking notes for me helps. Writing things down. Again, phone needs to be away. The phone for me also, like as much as it is for you guys, it's a distraction. If I have notes and write things down and I take kind of bullet point notes, that helps me stay focused and on track. Also, if it's in a meeting or in a lecture, like when I was in school, it's asking questions and participating in the lecture, or in the meeting, asking follow-up questions so I can keep my mind on what I need to instead of letting it wander. So yeah, that's been most helpful.
Yeah. Do you notice a difference in your attention span whenever you feel stressed or tired?
Oh, 100%, yeah. And I would say stress, I have a very hard time, again, now being a mother, my stress really comes from me worrying about my kid, the anxiety and worrying with that. And when something is not right with him, I am stressed, and my attention, it's hard to stay focused because in the back of my head I have anxiety about that situation or whatever, worry. So I gotta remind myself to be more present, but yeah.
And then, do you think the poor attention span is linked to broader issues like anxiety, burnout, or sleep problems?
I think that it's linked to that. I mean, technology is huge, and definitely if you're not sleeping, your body's not functioning right, then you're in a kind of a constant state of stress physiologically. And then when you have a little more of that, stress from lack of sleep, you can get more anxious. I think it all plays into one another, and that can, reduce that focus level. Anxiety is a huge component, and I've always struggled with that a little bit. So I think finding ways, like mine is like exercise, to reduce anxiety so my day can be more productive. Exercise and do things for me as well, not just for my family or my job. You gotta find things to make you happy so your mind can be right, so you can focus when you need to focus.
Then, do you believe that society places unrealistic demands on people's attention today?
No, I don't think it's unrealistic. What do you mean by that?
Like whenever we have the amount of distractions that we have in the world today, do you think that the expectations for attention?
No, I think there needs to be a more emphasis on, with all these distractions that we have, because it's the world we live in, we don't necessarily need to give more grace. We need to teach more ways to kind of strategies to help kids learn to stay more focused. But I think the expectation of focus should still be there, because the demands of jobs and things, we still got to be adults and do all that, right? So we just got to find different ways to kind of cope with the distractions and work with kids and adults on the distractions.
And then, how do you think attention span issues should be addressed in education and in the workplace?
I think that the school does a good job is phones away and reminding, because that's a big thing. So if you get phones away, kids are often there. Now you have kids that struggle with ADHD, ADD, things like that, and educating teachers on how to work with those students, right? And keep them focused, and making sure they're providing check-ins and things like that, and interim due dates. And so if you know your kids, and know a significant amount of kids do struggle with ADHD and attention, right? ADD. So to find ways to make sure those check-ins are keeping them on track instead of like letting them fall behind, right? A lot of times a kid that lacks focus sees one thing and gets set back from it, right? Because they can't do that one thing and they can't move on, so you get stuck on it. And then so helping kids work through kind of like that struggle so they can move on and keep focused and stay on track. So I just think it's educating teachers more and how to, accommodate students that maybe struggle with attention, whether it's on an IEP, 504, or not.
And then, If you could change one thing about your daily routine to improve your attention span, what would it be?
I would say, well, for our family is absolutely no phones or TV or things on while we're eating dinner.
Yeah.
And enjoying that time and that quality family time. That would be one. And then and again, I've been trying to do this, my work email, it's always up because it's, we need it for work. However, when I'm engaging with students, I'm trying to minimize it and put it away and check it during passing periods and lunch and things like that.
Yeah. And the last one is, do you think that there can be that anything can turn into an addiction?
With what?
With any activity, do you think that any activity can turn into an addiction, even if it's good or bad?
I think anything can turn into an addiction. I think if you do it every day and do it a lot and rely on whatever that thing is, that's an addictive thing. If you can't live without it, that's an addictive thing, right? Or if your day is off because you don't have it. So, there's a lot of good things. Like I run a lot. Like I need to do that. And however, there's days I don't, I'm okay, right? It's the same with, coffee or whatever that may be for you or for people. And some it's phones. But I do think, yeah.
Also, another one is, have you ever experienced withdrawal whenever you try to limit distractions?
Like missing whatever that distraction
like a cold turkey kind of.
I've never done a cold turkey of anything. Again, I think my focus is pretty solid. Especially since I've had a kid, I've had to limit a lot of those things. But I think I would be just fine because I know it would be good for me. But I have never done cold turkey on limiting a distraction.
Yeah.
But I have done it on my phone and I've done just fine. I've done it on when we're out, but it's kind of easy when you're out of service or when you're camping or when I'm on a family trip with just my family, extended family and all that. My phone's in the room most of the time. I'm bringing it out for pictures, but and it's been awesome. I've loved it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I don't think it's been a struggle for me. I know that it causes me to have attention problems, like those distractions, but I can also do without them.
Yeah. And there's the last one is that, do you think that distractions can override reason even if you're able to acknowledge that it is a distraction to yourself?
I think they can. I, again, don't think I super struggle with it, but I do think that distractions can for sure override reason, depending on the situation and I see it more with kids and students, right? Maybe when I was in high school, my high school self wouldn't be able to override that, but as my adult self, I'm okay to get through it. But in high school, I think, it's just a different world you're in, especially with you guys,
Yeah.
I think it's hard to, even though it's not good for you, I think it's hard for a kid in high school to get off social media or to get off their phone or distraction of whatever drama is going on in the day, right? I think that's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're missing something, missing out on whatever that is, right? Whether it's knowledge, whether it's content, whether it's, an experience or something someone's seen, so.
And also, I think the last one is, do you think that someone's attention has value in the economy, and is that why the social media is their algorithms are very predatory?
Oh, so what are you? So you're saying that?
Do you think that attention has value in the marketplace?
Yes. So grabbing attention, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the only reason why there's this addiction we have to social media is because it's grabbing attention. These algorithms are created for the specific individual, so they stay attentive and online, right? And I think that's a huge issue. It does it even on social media that I use. And again, I'm not super, it doesn't really distract me too much. However, it is a big issue because it's drawing people in more and more and more, right? But I also think attention is valued, and when people show attention to something, it means they care. And if people are pouring attention into these social media platforms, right, the things that they care about in their day-to-day lives, in their own life, not in other people's lives, right, are going to go down. And we need more care for our daily lives versus social media platforms, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's
All
all the questions.
Okay.
Thank you for doing the interview.
You're welcome, Oliver.